if you're talking about the state of the economy, I think one of the things they usually jump on is the issue of the fact that we are in a pandemic, the whole world is virtually in lockdown, and that's definitely going to affect the economy. They said their economy, the economy that they were managing, was doing better before the pandemic. What do you say to that?
Well, the quest to raise money from the IMF during the pandemic gave Ghanaians a true sense of what our economy has been. The data that was presented to the IMF is a true state of the Ghanaian economy over the life of Akufado's race, and not the data that is been channeled out for Ghanaians. And on the basis of that data, you have been doing a deficit, your least deficit you have been doing is 7%, rising to about now almost 60%. Is that the economy that was hit by pandemic? Was that economy not already in pandemic? Your economy that you claim was growing at what you call 8%, turned out to be growing at an average of about 5%. And as a matter of fact, your non-oil economy was deteriorating every year. Is that not an economy in pandemic? An economy where the World Bank and the IMF indicated was in danger, was at risk of debt distress. And that our debt sustainability, we had failed on all scores of our debt sustainability analysis. Was that economy not already in pandemic? This is equivalent to an economy with underlying conditions, which has now been killed by the virus. If an economy had BP and the virus came, it would die. And you were pretending that the economy was healthy, it didn't have BP. Now, the pandemic exposes your BP, you have been hiding. What will happen to you? You will die. So that economy was already in pandemic. And as a matter of fact, Ghana is the only country that was managing two pandemics at the time COVID-19 came. The pandemic of a clueless government and the pandemic of COVID-19. So what COVID-19 came to do was to expose the underlying conditions we had. And those underlying conditions, we could no longer manage them. And that's why our economy is on life support. But the economy was already gone.
Having said all this, what do you anticipate? What are the expectations of the budget? I haven't listened to the president. Hello?
I'm saying,
okay,
they will come and hide the data, they will hide the true state of the economy, and they will find biblical expressions to explain away the challenge. Beyond that, you can't expect anything more than what the president did. Run away from the challenges of our economy without any leadership provided to deal with them.
One of the other things a lot of us are having to talk about is the fact that the nominee for the finance minister position is missing in action, and you're hearing that the budget to be presented by the majority leader. The question that everybody is trying to answer. So once the budget is presented, perhaps approved by Parliament, who then will be responsible for its expenditure? How is that supposed to work? Do you understand how it's supposed to work under the circumstances? Because the finance minister nominee has not been vetted and approved yet.
Yeah, so the finance minister only represents the president in the presentation of, so it is the president's budget presented through his minister for finance. And it is the minister for finance, because we know finance and the budget is a technical specialist area. But it doesn't mean that only the Minister for Finance can present it. the president can nominate any minister to act in that capacity once the person has been approved by parliament as a substantive minister. That person can be assigned to perform any role within government. So just like the Minister for Finance can be reassigned to energy and any other minister minister, be it the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, can be reassigned to perform the functions of the finance minister. How he will be able to do it, I am not in a position to judge. So we are waiting for the president to have somebody come on his behalf to present the budget. After the budget has been presented, we will debate the policy underpinnings of the budget, which will be approved or disapproved. But then the estimates themselves would be approved at committee. And so sector ministers would appear before committee. And don't forget that finance is also a sector ministry that comes under the finance committee. So if the president decides that it is the minister for parliamentary affairs who would be acting as the finance minister and would appear before the finance committee to address the concrete issues of finance and the budget of the ministry, we will welcome him, because that is not our prerogative. Our prerogative is that whoever appears before us is able to provide the answers and is able to do a good job that may ensure that we have no doubt in approving or disapproving. And if it happens to be a research minister that they feel they can rely on, that is a decision for the president to make. We don't have to come to that.
Let me land by asking you one last question. So, having said all this, if I gave you the opportunity to just tell us what the state of our nation is currently, from your own perspective, what would you say?
We have a very polarized country. We have a country that is in dire need of direction and leadership. Our economy has been badly ravaged by COVID-19. And what has happened to the economy is the devastation of the economy resulting from the underlying conditions that we had, which are susceptible to destruction by COVID-19. We need to have a very bold leadership that will take the appropriate steps to resolve the economy. But again, you need a leader who is first and foremost willing to accept where we are, make where we are very clear, and then we can assist him to find solutions to deal with where we are. Unfortunately, we didn't have that, and we don't have that. We may have to struggle for another 4 years.